Hey there, I'm Wellness Coach Molly Stroud, and today I want to talk about working from home and parenting during quarantine and managing that work-life balance. Working from home with children can be a challenge depending on the age of the child. You have a lot of different challenges depending on their level of understanding. Children may, especially young children, talk a lot, be very loud. Sometimes they can be destructive. They don't really understand that we need office space, especially when we don't typically have a home office. We might be working at the dining table or, kind of a makeshift space, and the child might be used to that being their play space or their territory. And it can be really difficult to draw that line. So I'm going to go over some challenging behaviors of children, and then as well as some tips to manage that work-life balance. So some challenging behaviors, sometimes, we might have the constant snacker, the constantly asking for things. Sometimes our children can be really bossy and demanding. They can be emotionally very needy, needing constant reassurance, needing constant social interaction, needing a lot of conversation. Sometimes we have those ninja children that need to jump and run and play and kick. We've got arguers and fashionistas that need to change 4 times a day, changing outfits, and it can be very difficult to manage your work with all these distractions. I know I have a daughter who's 2.5, and I'm interrupted about every 30 seconds for the most part. This is take 3 of this video because of which, so we're working on it. So I've got some tips to help smooth things along while you're working from home. Something I've found that's been really great is exercising with your child. We've been doing exercises in the morning and yoga at night. So the exercises in the morning, you're teaching your child fitness. This is a teachable moment. You're engaging their gross motor skills. You're getting exercise. You're feeling good about yourself. The child is getting exercise, especially if it's raining outside or you're cooped up indoors. You're getting that physical energy out to start your day. You feel good about yourself. The kid's feeling good. At the end of the night, yoga is an excellent practice with your child. You're teaching your child exercise. You're teaching them mindfulness. You're teaching them stretching. You're teaching them focus. Plus, it's helping the child get some extra wiggles out, and they're winding down before bed. Number 2 is let them help with home tasks, whether that be cooking or cleaning. Children like to help. Young children like to help. Older children, if they're not so much into helping, this is a teachable moment that you can explain to them the responsibilities of adulthood, the responsibilities of picking up after themselves. Engage them, make it fun. Make it a game. Who can fold the laundry the fastest, or, how many towels. Get their input in cooking. Hey, what kind of dressing do you want on your salad? Can you help me chop these tomatoes? Get them involved, and they'll feel important, they'll feel engaged, and while it's not a video game, it's something that's engaging to them and something that you're doing together as a family, and it can help them feel more involved. If you do have a very resistant child, you can set up a reward system. Say, hey, you do these chores, and you can have a piece of candy, a piece of, or screen time, whatever. Rewards like that, though, should only be used if you need to, because you don't want to depend on that. You don't want them so reward focused. Number 3 is the biggest issue is what can the kids do while we are working? A lot of us are working from home on our phones, on our computers, and it can be very hard to engage your child while you're working. And the best thing that I can come up with is to mirror what you're doing. The child wants to be involved. So this is a really great teachable moment about careers, about identities, about job choices. And of course, you can make this understandable to the level that your child is at. You're going to have a different conversation with a high schooler than you are with a preschooler. But we can still talk about, firefighters and things like that. So some good ways to occupy your child while you're working is, talking to them about these careers, having them sit at an art desk, writing or coloring, pretending to be a writer, pretending to be an artist, or, doing that, just engaging in those activities. Building blocks. They can talk about construction workers and building skyscrapers and city planning and things like that. We can play with dolls and talk about fashion or home play, motherhood, childcare, social interactions, things like that. Costumes. We can dress up like firefighters, policemen. We can play with doctor kits. Have them, if you have pets at home, let them play with the pets and pretend to be a veterinarian. Play food. Even if you don't have a play food kitchen set, you can give them some pots and pans. They can pretend to be a chef. Doctor kits. And so while we want to limit the screen time as well, typically us parents, we're like, well, I want to curb the screen time. We don't need that so much. At the same time, us as adults, we work on computers. We work on computers all day. Many of us sit at a computer for 8 hours a day. So yes, we do want our children active. They have a natural affinity to be active. But at the same time, if you're working on a laptop and giving your child the tablet where they can engage in some really good games, some learning games, some ABCs or something, that is not the end of the world. You are working together and they're seeing you working. They're working on their work, learning ABCs or doing an educational game. It doesn't have to just be shows, but mirroring what you're doing with your child and giving them a task similar to what it is that you're doing so that we can flow a little bit better. We can get work done. And you can be productive in your work day and hopefully get things done and have a smooth transition with your children. So if you do have any questions, I made this video because I've gotten a lot of questions about how to manage the workday. So if you do have any questions, please feel free to reach out and I'd be more than happy to try to provide some solutions. So thank you. Have a blessed weekend, and I hope that we really, this really helps to kind of smooth things out and give you some tips on how to work effectively with your children. Have a great day.